Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great. Today, I'm here in front of you to address certain issues that basically most of the students will have when they're going to write the exam. So usually most of the people know certain options when they go to write the exam. Either they might be writing group 1 or they might be writing group 2, or some people will try to prefer to write both the groups. So here there is a big question. Sir, I don't want to write all the papers, or else I want to write only 1 or 2 papers and to get through with the exam, or else 5 or 6 papers. So under that condition, what students have to do? So today we are going to understand with that how a student can complete with the content by writing only limited papers, like 2 or 3 papers they can write, or they can write 5 to 6 papers, and still how they can get qualified. So usually this video is for the courses and batches to which CA and CMA. This is exempted from CA Foundation. Apart from that, to all the batches and to all the courses, this video is going to be useful. Since this video is going to be a really important one, so it's better I recommend all of you to make a note of all the things that are going to be discussed in this video. So this video has been made depending upon the available information as on 15/2/23. So apart from that, any update that comes with respect to any amendments, it's better you can update yourself with respect to all those amendments. Let's say if any of the students like want to write only 2 to 3 paper or 5 to 6 papers and still they could able to pass, then what they have to do? For them, in a CA and CMA professional courses, there is an option that is available. We call it as exemption. They can get through this with the help of exemption facility. So let us try to understand exactly what is this exemption facility is all about. So as of today, what kind of guidelines these boards have been provided to avail exemption facility for the students. Usually a particular student have attempted group 1 and he wrote all the papers of group 1, but he could not get the aggregate, let's say. But in 1 or 2 papers, a particular student have attained 60 marks or more than 60 marks in 1 paper, 2 paper, 3 papers, whatever they might be. If any student attain more 60 marks or more than 60 marks, which means that he got exemption in those papers, and that means he don't need to write those papers in the coming attempts. Only the rest of the papers he have to write. Let's say a particular student have attempted both the groups and he couldn't able to qualify in group 1. But in group 2, in 2 or 3 papers or more than that, he got 60 or more than 60 marks. Which means that in that group 2, next attempt when he write, he don't need to write the rest of the papers. And now how this exemption really works? For any student who got exemption 60 or more than 60 marks, this exemption facility he can avail only for the 3 attempts. So for the next coming 3 attempts, he don't need to write this particular paper, and the rest of the papers he can write. And here, what the board do is that they are trying to segregate both the groups independently. So whatever the group, whichever the paper that you have got exemption, you don't need to write that paper for the next attempt. And at the same time, this exemption facility is going to be available for him only for the next 3 attempts. So within that 3 attempts, he have to complete the rest of the papers, so that he can easily go through with that. So this exemption facility can be availed by the student only by focusing on 2 or 3 papers or 5 to 6 papers. He can easily get through with the things for that particular attempt. So this facility can be availed for CA and CMA courses also, except the foundation courses. In CA, CMA, Inter and Final courses, this facility, the exemption facility which just before I have said, can be availed by the students. So for those students, as I was talking about, if they want to write 5 to 6 papers rather than writing 8 papers of both the groups, then what they have to do, let's understand the procedure. So first what they have to do is that apply for both the groups, for group 1 and group 2. So try to focusly write about all the group 1 papers and write all the papers of group 1 with a serious preparation. And then remaining group, whatever the group 2 is there, whatever the 1 or 2 papers that you want to get exemption, those papers you try to write seriously, and the rest of the papers you go and attempt. So even though if you are not writing anything, first go and attempt. Even though if you fail, first go and attempt. So there is a lot of difference between not attempting for the exam and gaining 0 marks. So here the criteria is that you have to go and attend the exam for the rest of the papers. So what happens, sir, if it happens that group 1 I haven't cleared, very serious preparation I have wrote group 1 but I haven't clear, but in group 2 whatever the 2 papers that I have wrote with the preparation I've got exemption. So will this exemption will be valid? Yes, certainly it will be valid. So on that scenario, this is the best thing that a student can do, apply for both the groups and go and write one group with a serious preparation. And let's say the second group, whatever the 1 or 2 papers that you wish to get exemption, seriously prepare it, and the rest of the paper go and attempt. So do not absent for the exam. Go and write your number and come. It is okay even if you don't write anything. It is okay to get the 0 marks, but don't absent to that particular paper. So is it possible to appear just 1 or 2 papers in one group? Yes, definitely it is possible. So let's say first you apply for both the groups and then write what are the 1 or 2 papers that you want to get exemption. Seriously prepare them. But the rest of the subjects, what important thing is that you have to go and attempt. So this is applicable even for single group also. Let's say you have applied for one group and at the time of examination you have realized that you could not able to deal with all the subjects. Then what you have to do, whatever 1 or 2 subjects that you are very serious upon, try to get exemption in that. Rest of the exams you go and attempt first, even though you are going to get 0 marks in that. So usually many of the students will do that. Many of the students will share their experiences also, where one of the CA final student have shared his experience by saying that so in the first attempt he have focused on the 3 papers and he could manage and he have worked hard to get exemption in 3 papers, whatever the papers that you are comfortable in. And then in the second attempt he wrote rest of the another 3 papers and he got exemption in those 3 papers. And then in the third attempt he completed the rest of the 2 papers and he completed then also. So many of the students miss this small logic and they'll end up in giving up so many attempts. Rather, if they focus on this exception principle, definitely it is going to be beneficial for them if they can do this. Let's say if any of the student wants to write 5 or 6 papers in the revision exams conducted by masterminds, can he avail that? Certainly, he can definitely avail that. So there are 2 options for him. Option 1, what they have to do is that choose both groups in the revision exam. And in this option, what they have to do is that they will be focusing only those papers where they want to get exempt. They will be seriously writing those revision exams and rest of the papers just they will give attempt. If they do so, only difficulty that they will be having is that it is that their grand average will be impacted. Apart from that, they can focus on the papers what they want to focus on. And then option 2, choose single group in the revision exam and then they will be writing all the papers of that single group. Here one difficulty, it is not suggestible to go for option 2 because let's say you have chosen revision exams for only one group and in the other group you want to get exemption in 2 papers and for those 2 papers you are not writing your revision exams, so you can't evaluate performance well. So the better option among these 2 is to go for option 1 where you are going to go for both the groups, choosing both the groups and you are focusing on those papers which you felt like you can get some exemption. So this is the one thing, it's better to go for option 1. So here the thing is that irrespective of whatever the decision that you are going to take, but what important is constantly monitor your performance. Let's say both groups you have attempted, positive result is not coming, then shift to single group. Even single group you have chosen, positive result is not coming, go for the papers. And then collectively either 2 or 3 papers. But what matters is that constantly you have to keep on giving a positive results. So whatever the decision that you have taken, it's very important to provide constant results. So another serious suggestion that can be provided is that after completion of your exam, never sit idle. So it's very important to plan for the rest of the exams. It's very important. So this is how if they can do, it's going to be really beneficial for them. So finally, I would like to say one thing. Don't forget to install our app. It is going to be, it consists of a lot of useful content. And you can directly contact with the directors of masterminds as you can see their contact details. and you can send your comments, suggestions for any kind of improvements with respect to this video. Definitely you can send a mail to mmsprakash2012@gmail.com. So hope these inputs are going to be really useful for you to plan your examinations. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.